Drew Lock, what is he going through, and how can somebody like you maybe help him through this?
We have a protocol in psychology. It's called solution-based therapy or solution-based protocols. And what it means is you stay present in the moment. You don't think about problems. The solution to every problem sometimes don't have anything to do with each other. And sometimes when we focus on problems, guess what? We find more problems. But if we focus on solutions to those issues, then we have a better chance. I think Drew is a really prime candidate for that. He's got to be able to flush what happened in the past and move on with solution-based therapies. Let me give you an example. When a quarterback throws an interception, okay, they play that again in their head as they run to the sidelines. Then the offensive coordinator sits them down and says, what were you thinking? That's 2. Then they sit down with the iPad and look at it 2 or 3 times. That's 3, 4, or 5 that the brain's recording it. That's exactly the opposite of what we're doing. So what we're doing now with NFL teams is we're helping offensive coordinators and head coaches understand, do not ask him what he was thinking. Do not put it on the iPad. Let him flush it. We have techniques called the 1-minute flush where he can flush it out of his system. And then on Monday morning, you can break out the iPad and you can go over it. But at that time, they got to flush it from their system. So there are ways that Drew Lock can be able to flush bad experience and be solution-based. That would help him in his competition in training camp this season.
And why are we seeing Teddy Bridgewater maybe feeling a little bit like cooler and calm and collected than Drew is at the moment?
Because he's the wolf climbing the hill. You know, Drew's the wolf at the top of the hill. That's the hardest position to be in. You're the starter. You've been the starter. You know, Teddy's climbing the hill, and he's thirsty. He's hungry. Some people don't give him a shot. I personally do. I think he's got a great opportunity, especially if he stays in that emotional intelligent phase. On the parasympathetic side of the autonomic, he'll perform at peak levels. But that wolf climbing the hill always has an advantage because they're not thinking about maintaining or keeping their position. They're thinking about going out and getting it. That's the right mentality to have when you're trying to win a starting job in the NFL.
So physiologically, we'll leave the decisions to the coaches, but psychologically, who do you think who's in the better position to win the job?
Well, I think Drew has a good mindset. I think he's learning a lot of how important it is from the neck up versus the neck down. But I also think, that Teddy's got a good shot because Teddy's very athletic. He's always relied on that. He's learning to rely on the mental side more. So I think it's a neck and neck, race here. And that should be exciting for Denver fans come this fall.
This past week, Demaryius Thomas announced his retirement from the
DT,
NFL.
Yep.
I know you know him well.
Yep.
Separately from even just knowing him as a man, can you talk about what it's like for athletes who have spent their entire lives devoted to this one craft, what it's like when they have to put that aside and be a part of the regular world, what that does to their brain?
For 8 years, for 10 years, however long DT's been in the NFL, his brain's got trained to have training camp every year, training, working the offseason, the camaraderie with the fellas. All of that is part of his brain training. It's going to be an adjustment. That's why we have programs developed to help players acclimate from active NFL playing to retirement. And for some players, they really struggle with it because they don't retrain their brain. Here's the cool thing, Arielle, the brain has neuroplasticity, which means we can generate new thinking pathways. And if athletes will be open to retraining their brain in a new productive way, they can have just as productive a career post football season than they had before. But the key is they got to believe that. They got to come in and ask for help.
He wants Demaryius Thomas is there. DT's got it in a foot race.